Let's talk about Holi Festival.
Play the theme music. Hello and welcome to this episode of Tripology. I'm Alan and I'm here with the ever celebratory Adam.
Holy mackerel, Alan. How are you, mate?
Holy mackerel indeed. We're here together as one in this makeshift little studio above a hostel. Beautiful, isn't it? Sort of ramshackle in its nature, but we've tried to adorn it and make it as nice as possible.
We have. We've spruced it up. We've done some interior decorating.
Yeah. I mean, go to YouTube if you want. Have a look at it. It's beautiful. The Tripology Studio 3.0.
Yeah, no, I like what we've done with the place. I don't think we needed to ask permission. We didn't anyway, but it looks very, very good. You've put your scarf up there. Tell me the correct name.
It's called a peshtamal. It's a kind of Turkish bath robe, scarf, towel, Turkish bath towel. It's not one of my number one recommended items for travel. It can act as a towel, obviously, as the name would suggest. Also, you can use it to, I've used it to sort of whip away like wild dogs who are attacking me. I've used it sometimes as a scarf. I've used it sometimes as a kind of a beach cloth to lie on.
And now as a backdrop for a podcast studio.
Multifunctional. This one's called Pashanka. I've called it Pashanka. That's the name of it. I personify a lot of my travel items.
Amazing stuff. And as you can see, we've got a little poster up there as well. So yeah, head to YouTube and see what it looks like.
See Pashanka in the flesh.
Al, what are we doing today, mate? We're in Mumbai still. We're loving it. It is sweltering.
Yeah, there's a thing that's recently happened in Mumbai and indeed the rest of India, and it's something that formed a beacon for me when I first started traveling.
Yeah.
I was desperate to go and experience Holi Festival, the festival of colours. Originally, when I started traveling, mate, I wanted to go and see all these festivals, go to the most iconic countries for the festival I was thinking of, and Holi, it seemed like a beautiful festival. Holy. You might have seen it on kind of Instagram, YouTube, pictures of it.
All of the
perhaps
above.
in a National Geographic book.
Yeah, good point. Documentaries as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so vibrant and eye-catching, colourful. It's just a videographer's dream, really.
I was very aware of it, right? I was very aware of it because it is this bright, beautiful festival. Everyone in the audience will have seen it to some extent. It's called the Festival of Colours, and it's a celebration, an embodiment of the love of the deities, the Hindu deities, Krishna and Radhu. And it's supposed to, show their vibrancy and their love through this expression of colour. There's a lot of other more kind of intrinsic, unique little things about it that make up the body of the festival, but that is the main thing that we're celebrating.
And I think it also celebrates good over evil as well.
Yeah, victory, the vanquishing of evil. And one thing that's so beautiful about Holi is those colours. It makes for a very unique thing, but we decided we wanted to experience it, of course.
Yes, together as well, important to add.
Yeah, absolutely. If I could choose anyone to experience Holi within the world, I mean, if it can't be Krishna or Radhu, it might as well be Adam from Tripology, and that's a beautiful thing.
And I was happy to oblige. I mean, when your best mate says, do you fancy meeting in Mumbai so we can celebrate Holi Festival together? Well, I mean, yeah.
If you say no in response to that question, maybe not host a travel podcast. You know what I mean? Like, maybe do something else with your life.
I was jumping on Skyscanner before you'd even finished the sentence.
Yeah, you were. I was like, that's amazing. Skyscanner already?
Yeah.
Not sponsoring the podcast.
You were like, shit, it's a good job I was being serious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you booked a flight. I thought, oh, God. Yeah, okay. I'll take a 24-hour train to Mumbai. I'll be there as well.
Yeah, no probs.
But the first thing you have to do, you can't just go to Holi Festival.
No.
You can't just walk out of your door.
You got to prepare.
Onto the street. Paint flying all over your brand new Ralph Lauren polo shirt, covering your Osprey backpack and a litany of powder. You can't do that.
You shouldn't do that.
No, and if you do that, you've not listened to Tripology Podcast. So we asked some people, what should we do? If we want to go to this Holi Festival, how should we look? How should we dress? They say, you've got to get yourself
some white garments.
So what did we do?
We went out to get some white garments.
We're in the perfect place for going out to get white garments because we're in Mumbai, quite close to markets where you can buy. I mean, I was saying to you just the other day, anything you want to fix in a pinch. the Mumbai markets would be the place to do it.
So efficient.
Scratch your bumper in the UK.
Scratch your bumper.
Scratch your bumper in the UK. It's going to be an expensive, perhaps difficult job, quite frustrating. Something you might have to go away from work on your lunch break, go to the garage, sort it out, get overcharged, send away for parts, all that stuff. You go to the Mumbai markets. I mean, it'll be done while you wait.
Yeah, turnaround time. By the time you got your money out of the wallet.
So bumper's fixed.
Yeah, we actually saw someone yesterday, didn't we? It was amazing. We saw this guy with a metal hammer bashing, it was like a metal tray into perfect sort of condition.
The tray was scratched and dented and looked like it had some abuse over the years. And he stared at it with the eyes of someone who has been doing this for a long time, smacked it a few times with this hammer, and the metal seemed to reform into perfect order, almost as if he was using that hammer to reverse time.
It was incredible, the uniformity and the straightness.
Yeah.
I think it was even getting more shiny as well.
It was.
It was so crazy.
It was taking on magical properties, that tray. I bought 3. So we headed to the Mumbai markets to get some white garments, as is tradition during Holi.
And my goodness, did we have fun. I'm not the best person to go shopping with, I wouldn't have said.
Why do you think that is? And then I'll tell you why I think it is.
Because I'm incredibly indecisive, even though I know the listeners probably listening to this thinking, you're getting white garments. What's that? That's typically a white shirt and white trousers, right? Linen pants or something.
Yeah. The brief was white and cheap.
So already it's narrowed it down somewhat. It's so focused, a shopping trip, that it really shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, it's easy. If something else takes your gaze, you can very quickly run the check. Is this white?
And is it cheap?
Yeah, because I'm going to get covered in paint. Yeah, so we went out with a very key aim. I think that you maybe treated it with reverence that perhaps it didn't require. Like, you wanted something really good, I think.
Yeah, and one of the reasons is because it's my first Holi, and I had floated the idea that maybe I would keep the shirt for my entire life.
Like a sort of Damien Hirst painting.
Yeah, you just never know with these things, do you? And then you talk to a couple of locals about it and they're like, oh God, no, everyone just throws their shirts away.
You were kind of
immediately afterwards.
That in 50 years' time, people would be like, oh, do you know Adam? He's that guy that always wears that white shirt with kind of a Rorschach's test of colour on it. And they'd be like, yeah, where's he got that from? He was like, oh, he went to Holi back in 2024. Okay.
Yeah. So look, I thought it was a great opportunity to maybe try a few things out, because the outfits themselves, it's not something I typically wear, Alan.
Yeah. You don't normally wear all white like a sort of sexy cult leader.
No, especially not with the bottoms cut out.
No, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, long linen flowing pants. And then a button-up shirt, really lightweight. I mean, a little bit see-through. I think I could see your nipples.
Could you?
A little bit. Yeah.
It's not appropriate, is it?
I mean, it wasn't a bad thing.
We bought 2 of these shirts and 2 pairs of pants, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Do you remember how much you paid for yours?
I think I paid 250 rupees. Is that right?
Definitely for the pants.
Okay.
So I did a deal. It was my first interaction haggling with a market stall owner.
Yeah.
I needed some backup.
It's also the first time I've ever seen someone take a dislike to you.
No.
It is.
No, because that wasn't true. That wasn't true. Come on.
With the shirt?
Oh, with the shirt.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I was talking about the pants. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
But with the pants, the market stall owner, very quickly reached his bottom price to the point where he just said, if you're not going to pay it, you can fuck off.
Yeah. I ain't selling if you ain't buying at my price.
Yeah. And I thought, oh, well, but this isn't, I didn't think this was the game. I'm new to the game, of course.
Yeah.
But I thought we were just going to meet in the middle, as it were. And he said, no, it's 500 rupees for both pairs. That's the price.
Yeah, that's
And I was like, oh, what about 450? And he said, that's not 500. And I said, oh, would you go 495? He said, it's also not 500.
And you can pretty much divide that by 100 to get US dollars, right? 500 rupees, about $5 approximately.
Yeah. And I didn't really offer 495.
Right. Yeah.
I shook his hand and, we had a bit of a laugh about it and stuff. It was really nice. But the shirt itself, you're right. As soon as we walked in the store, the look that we got, or I got, I mean, I'm trying to include you, but I think it was me.
It was you. Do you know how I know? It's because I'm used to getting those looks. There's a superpower that goes on between you and I.
Right.
And it's your superpower.
Okay.
I just observe it.
Oh, God.
People take a liking to you very, very quickly. Male or female, cat or dog, they love you.
Is it because my bum's hanging out?
Yeah. Sometimes it's because of that. Sometimes it's because of your sartorial elan. Sometimes it's because I just think you have a natural personability that people find attractive.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sit in the corner of the room, a bit more like a grumpy sort of Bernard Black type figure.
Slightly more handsome.
No, I don't think it's to do with aesthetic prowess.
Okay.
I think it's to do with your instinct when you look at someone is to smile.
Mm-hmm.
My instinct is to think, is this person trustworthy? I look at them with a steely gaze.
Okay.
And then I realize they're looking at me and smiling. And my internal monologue is, oh God, I've been staring at them like I despise them for the last 20 seconds. Smile, Alan, smile. And then I'll smile. By then it's too late. This was the first time I'd ever seen you walk into a store, and far from the usual thing that I see, which is, oh, I like this guy. Hey, look at his shorts. Ooh. He looked at you and thought, there was like an instant disliking, I thought.
Yeah, I felt very uncomfortable because I then walked into the shop and ultimately bought something for what I would say is quite an expensive price.
Yeah, because you won round his boss.
Yeah.
The guy that didn't like you. You had your normal superpower effect on the guy that he worked for. He gave you the cheaper price.
And I'm not saying that everyone who works in a retail store needs to like every customer.
No.
But I think it probably is better for sales
Well, and
if
also,
you at least pretend that you like your customers.
It wasn't based on anything that you did. All you did was walk into the store smiling. That was enough.
Maybe he was cut from the same cloth.
As me.
Fabric. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little fabric joke.
Yeah.
As you, for sure.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to get along with you. Maybe he was like, oh God, I did that thing where I look at someone like an axe murderer.
Well, luckily, just in case there was any doubt, he did it repeatedly the whole time we were in the store.
Yeah, he did. Normally I can pull out of the skid before that happens.
So I paid 400 rupees for a shirt that I did end up wearing. But yeah, the look on the guy's face when his boss gave me a little bit of money off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's disgusting.
Adam said, I'll do 450. And the guy went, no, 500. And his boss went, yeah, 450 is fine. And the guy was like, oh, no. Yeah. So there we are. We ended up with our garments for a reasonable price. We thought we looked the part.
We did.
Holi was on.
Well, what was also funny was when we got back to the hostel, the lovely hostel we're now in, people were excited about the sort of things that other people had bought. You know, have you got your Holi shirt? Oh, did you bring one from home? All this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I put mine on and the guys are like, oh, where'd you get that? I got it down the market. How much did you pay for it? I said 400 rupees. They said 400 fucking rupees.
Yeah.
You're having a laugh.
Are you having an absolute joke? And then they looked at your garment, felt it between their fingers, each one like an Egyptian kind of carpet salesman, like really looking at the fibers, and each person went, oh Adam,
oh, you've bought a nice one.
Oh Adam, that's too nice for Holi.
That's a dress shirt.
Keep that,
covered in
pass
paint.
that down like an heirloom to your grandchildren. This is a fine fabric. I pulled mine out of the bag. They're like, yeah, wear that for Holi. That piece of old tut, yeah. Sling it in the streets, mash it into the dirt a little bit, then wear it for Holi. Adam, this is tut. This is beautiful.
Yeah, it was quite funny, the fact that so many people, independent of one another as well, it was like 3 or 4 people on the trot said, how much? 400 rupees a shirt for Holi? They've been taken for a ride.
Why have you done that?
And then they feel it. They go, oh,
you know
to
you
be
get
fair.
paint on that.
I hope so.
Festival of Colours. Not Festival of going out wearing your Sunday best.
Have you got a job interview?
Yeah. Oh, Adam, you won't be joining us for the Holi Festival then? It seems that Adam's going to a fancy gala.
There's some wedding that's inconveniently planned on Holi.
Yeah, exactly. So your shirt was met with animosity, but we just committed to it. We're like, this is what we're wearing. You asked me to swap with you. You're like, can I put on your shirt? I feel, I'm wearing a bit nice clothes.
I know, and it's funny because, bless you, you said, I don't care. I don't care. I can wear your one. You can wear. It's just almost completely irrelevant to me. I'm wearing a white shirt. That's all I care about. And I was like, but do you really mind?
I was like, Adam, you can't possibly fathom how little I care about what I'm wearing tomorrow. Like, however much you think I care about what I'm wearing for Holi, imagine that 1,000 times less.
They felt good, those trousers, though, didn't they?
It was nice. The whole thing was nice. So me and Adam basically dressed up like we believed that the world was created 50 years ago by aliens and wanted other people to join our cause. We looked like we wanted to be the charismatic leaders of a new religious movement, didn't we?
Yeah, and did you see anyone else wearing...
Not like we were.
All white? No.
No.
No, I looked at you and I thought, oh, Yeah, you look different. You look the same as me, but no one else looked. People are just wearing maybe a white top.
Like a Tottenham Hotspurs shirt. And they were like, yeah, I don't mind.
There's me trying to get some red on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm an Arsenal fan, obviously.
Yeah. People were just dressed in whatever they had in their kind of outfit that was vaguely white and vaguely didn't mind getting a bit
pale
ruined.
blue, I think, as well.
Saw a lot of that.
But
me and you were dressed like we really wanted to convince people of something.
Yeah, I would like Al for the rest of the episode, if you don't mind, if I could put the shirt on. Is that all right?
I think that's a great way to spend the rest of the episode. We've bought our clothes. We've finished with the preparations. We're about to go downstairs on the morning of Holi, the Festival of Colours, dressed all in white. We're walking down the stairs. Let's go on a brief meditation break, and we'll see you in a second. Like an air bubble rising to the top of a body of water, emitted by a sort of amphibious creature right down at the bottom, our conscious mind returns there into our brain box, and here we are. But what's that? A new light source in the room in which we reside. It's Adam in what can only be described as a Technicolor dream coat.
Don't mind if I do. I won't lie, the neck is itchy as you like.
That'll be all the accumulated bacteria from a day dancing, sweating, and feeling rather festive.
Well, there might be some people there going, did you wash the shirt before you wore it for the first time? No, I didn't. I didn't even iron it.
Can confirm, the shirt has not been washed. People who are following us on youtube.com/tripologypodcast will be able to see you now in the Technicolor dream coat, the coat that you used to celebrate Holi, the Festival of Colours. For those of you just tuning into the podcast, the OGs, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff, let me tell you, the coat, it's a white coat. It used to be a white little shirt.
Yeah.
It's got yellow on it. It's got pink on it. It's got red on it. It looks like you have crushed grapes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sort of a high-end vineyard for maybe a year non-stop.
Also could have happened.
But you look like you've been accosted. And indeed, in many ways, you have.
It looks very dusty, I think. I think you can tell it was done with paint powder.
Yeah.
As opposed to liquid paint.
Yeah, this is not a work of watercolour or acrylic or even oil. This is powder paint. Peppered.
It is. How good's your microphone? No, it is.
Thank God for the pop filter.
Totally, yeah. No, it is amazing. It was amazing to be walking around wearing this as well. Because I'm a little bit of a clean freak, but you just got to let go on that day, haven't you? Holi, you're walking in. I mean, we didn't even get out of the building before we were covered in paint.
As soon as we walked downstairs in our white garment, a white garment to a person on Holi is like a red rag to a proverbial bull, because the second we come down, happy Holi, and we're showered with water sprayed at us, powder paint adorning our faces, all slapped on our shirt. It's above all else a festival celebrating divine love, and I think that is so evident in so many ways, you know?
It is. I love it. I said to you before, didn't I, that I've never had so many interactions, physical ones, with complete strangers, because people are coming up to you saying happy Holi.
Yeah.
And then with powdered paint, they're sort of wiping your forehead and either cheek, and it's so lovely. It immediately breaks down any barriers and brings you much closer to people. And
yeah.
It was just such a wonderful feeling. Even people in the hostel that we hadn't spoken to really on that morning,
totally.
Just coming up and saying happy Holi, I hope you have an amazing day, and then you do a little exchange with the paint, and then you move on and you smile at each other forever and more.
Yeah, exactly. And not just people from the hostel who we ultimately went out and enjoyed a little festive Holi with, but just strangers on the street. People will come up to you, happy Holi, sort of wipe their paint hands on your face. It's a beautiful thing. Interesting that Holi celebrates Krishna, the childlike incarnation of Vishnu, because what a childlike festival it is. It really brings you back to the mischievous sort of anarchic time in childhood where there's water bombs being thrown, paint being thrown, talking to strangers, roaming the streets of Mumbai. It was such a childlike, effervescent, beautiful thing.
It was incredibly nostalgic as well, because that is exactly the sort of behaviour that you would have been told off for, growing up, is throwing paint at each other, throwing paint at your siblings. It was just such an amazing exercise in being able to be a little bit naughty and getting away with it. Do you know what I mean?
I couldn't believe my luck pelting people from afar with some powdered paint, because I often want to do that when it's not holy. I often look at people and I think, if not for the time of year and the fact that I am without paint, this person would be covered by now.
Yeah, and to be a child on Holi in the streets, running around with your friends and just chucking water bombs and paint at strangers, can you imagine how much fun that must be?
Yeah, what a beautiful thing. We ended up going, there was a few people at the hostel for whom it was not their first Holi, and they took us, they kind of shepherded the backpackers to a beautiful festival, wasn't it? There was music, there was dancing.
Thousands of people.
Thousands of people.
Yeah, and even walking outside the event, you could hear the sort of the kick drum going, and I'm turning around to you, just so anxious to get in. You're like, yeah, we're on our way. I was like, oh God, this is exactly what I wanted to find.
You reminded me as one of the children in popular folkloric story, The Pied Piper.
Oh, really?
You heard the music, and you sort of, your eyes glazed over, and it was difficult to see your eyes because they were covered in paint. But you were like, you were really drawn. You sort of rushed ahead to that festival. You were excited to get in. You got in. You got on my shoulders, didn't you? I raised you above the crowd.
Yeah, we got some good footage. I mean, head to Instagram to see some of the reels that we're pumping out at the moment, because it's spectacular. Like I said, cinematography, videographers' dream really, to just be panning around crowds that are throwing huge amounts of paints at each other. And another thing as well is, I was saying to you that when you wade through the crowds, it's amazing that some areas are heavily weighted towards a couple of colour schemes, and then people will walk past you wearing like blue and orange, and then some green people come through, and then there's lots of people covered in yellow and pink, and it's just an assault on the senses. It's really
like a game of Splatoon out there. Yeah, there's like different factions, the green factions coming towards the pink faction, but everyone, the overwhelming positive emotion is one of community, togetherness and love, isn't it?
Yeah, and kindness and generosity as well. I mean, we tried to pay for some water inside the venue, and they were just given out for free. They said, no, it's holy, please take this. And there was alcohol being served in there and that kind of thing. So yeah, what an amazing way to spend it. We were there for a good few hours dancing away in the sun. The music was fantastic. The atmosphere was electric, and I'm just so pleased that we got to spend it together in that way as well.
Yeah, it was amazing. And speaking of alcohol being served at that venue, kind of leads me on to talk about one aspect of Holi which we've not touched on yet.
Go on.
And that is the fact that I would say alcohol was not very prevalent. There was some alcohol being drunk. I saw a couple of bottles of wine.
Yeah.
But the predominant and traditional beverage of Holi is, and can only be, and cannot be denied to be, the bhang lassi.
I know. I mean, call me old-fashioned. When it's 35 degrees and I'm dancing to electronic music, I'm not reaching for the bottle of red wine.
No, and you'd be forgiven for that, because everyone who wants to experience a traditional Holi, a proper Holi, they'll notice that there's a special little drink that is legalized throughout India, but it's legal everywhere during the Holi Festival, because it is an important aspect of the festival, and that is bhang, which is like, it's edible cannabis, cannabis infused with oil, therefore releasing the potent psychoactive compound 11-hydroxy metabolite in the gut. I mean, put it in a lassi, mate.
I know.
You've got a delicious drink that will also make you trip.
I'll be damned if I've had an edible that is more delicious than a bhang lassi.
It's the most delicious edible.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Think about the way it's made. It's like sort of lovely creamy texture, milky, and then it's got spices and nuts. And then, of course, it has the effects of making you high, which in that scenario, with all the colours as well, it's just a wonderland.
And if there is anyone listening to this that thinks, oh, they've become the biggest travel podcast on the internet and now they're peddling drugs. If you think in any way that there's something wrong with consuming a bhang lassi during a Holi Festival, you must also think that all alcohol, coffee, nicotine, all of that is bad for you. Because I think there's something so perfect about a bhang lassi during Holi.
Yeah, and it's so widely available, readily available in the streets. We were obviously at festivals with people who were drinking it with us, giving it to us, asking about how the thing was affecting us and all this kind of stuff. It's completely ubiquitous. I mean, it's
for a festival that's about celebrating colour, compassion, love.
Yeah.
I think a psychoactive drug, of which the strength can vary massively, but you can just have a very chill, light experience.
Yeah.
It's the perfect thing. I felt so connected and wonderful to everyone there. We've all heard stories of people taking a bhang lassi and falling asleep for a couple of days. But I mean, it really...
a couple of days.
Holi was gone. It can be very, very strong. If you go too strong, I mean, it'll make you sleepy.
Yeah. I had the medium strength towards the end of the day, and I fell asleep, didn't I?
You did.
I
did. Passed out. We got back from Holi. Holi is just a day festival.
I didn't even have a bath.
We got back from Holi.
Yeah.
Kind of after dinner time, 7 p.m. maybe.
Yeah.
You got into bed. You were fast asleep.
I know.
I didn't fall asleep.
I never do that.
Really?
I never do. I'm not a napper. I think sleeping, later than about 8 o'clock is a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah.
And even when I'm tired, I would much rather see it through and stay up until, normal bedtime, when that might be 10 or 11, than have a nap. And I just needed it. I just felt good. I felt like we'd had such a day. Dancing around in 35 degrees, arguably. Covered in paint.
Yeah.
Could have been, a little.
Management asked me to speak to you about your bed sheets after you went straight to bed after Holi. It was covered in powdered paint.
Is he going to pay for that?
Let me tell you what happened to me though, because you don't know this.
Oh.
But while you were sleeping, I didn't feel tired.
Oh, okay.
I just thought, that bhang must have affected Adam differently to me because whatever. I sat in bed.
Yeah.
I was listening to podcasts.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've seen me, but I've been trying to get better at chess recently.
Yeah.
So I've been, playing chess on my phone.
And always asking me every day if I want to play chess against you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I lay on my bed and I was just playing chess.
Yeah.
I got through a couple of games, right, online.
Yeah.
I was playing a game and someone took my queen.
Right.
Which, as you know, in chess is the worst thing that can happen to you, right?
Yeah. I mean, even playing chess on the Festival of Colours, and it's monochrome, isn't it? It's just black and white.
Yeah.
Did they change it on your app for that one day?
Yeah, no.
That would have been great.
That'd have been great, yeah.
Yeah. Would have been hard. But...
Someone took my queen.
Okay.
And that's right.
You're really tickled.
Yeah.
Someone took your queen.
Someone took my queen.
Out of order.
Yeah, out of order.
Sloppy that is.
Sloppy on my half. So I thought, oh no, someone's taken my queen. Hold on a second. I don't think normally someone would take my queen there. I don't think I'd normally allow that to happen.
You let your guard down, haven't you? You let your guard down.
I was just confused as to how it happened. And then I got out of bed to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
It became immediately apparent why my queen was taken. Because the world was a beautiful kaleidoscope of iridescent wonder. The bhang had started working. And whilst Adam was snoozing in his bed, I spent the next 2 hours just thinking about the future in a variety of wonderful and incredible ways. It was bonkers in my mind.
Yeah, it's a slow burner, isn't it?
It was a very, very slow burner because I was under the impression it was all over on the bhang front.
Sure, yeah.
We'd been to the Festival of Colours. We'd celebrated the divine love of Radha and Krishna. It's been done. And only to be kind of sparked again by the slaying of a monarch on the chessboard.
And then what transpired? Was it sort of a long trip? Because I kind of woke up halfway through, didn't I? And you were like, "How are you feeling?"
Yeah, a leading question.
Maybe.
Adam, how are you feeling?
I don't know if it's kicking in for you, but I just lost my queen,
and I've been mourning ever since.
No, I like. Maybe I didn't want to come to terms with the fact that I was high, but I was like, yeah, I don't feel normal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what else could it be,
What else could it be? And someone else was checking into the bunk below you.
Right, yeah.
And they asked us a question kind of as a team. And normally you're kind of the more outgoing social person. So they were like, oh, hi, where are you guys? And you just sort of stared off into the middle distance. And I was like, yeah, hi. I'd been coping with being on the bhang for longer than you had. You were new to the conscious world. It was kind of a beautiful thing.
He was asking loads of questions and you're just there motionless saying, do you play chess?
Because I've just had my queen taken.
Yeah, that's really funny. So, and I think that lots of people would echo that actually. I think the high was much later on. It caught us off guard. We thought that was a really lovely day. Maybe, we just didn't get the strongest one and that's fine. We ate through the middle of the day. We've been dancing it off and that kind of stuff. And then 6 o'clock at night, it hits you like a brick wall.
But amazing though, man, because I think some people have a weird perception of these sorts of things of, in countries where weed is not legal, it's somehow seen as being worse than beer.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Totally.
But that festival would have been such a mess if alcohol was the predominant drug.
Couldn't agree more.
Whereas on the bhang, strangers are hugging each other, telling them they love each other.
Yeah, everyone's
throwing
smiling. Yeah, it was, you know, certainly the overriding emotion was of acceptance and love and kindness. And I don't think it's any coincidence that everyone was drinking bhang lassi.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when I did come to from the whole Queen incident, I was like, oh, I'm definitely on the bhang, lying in my bed. I was thinking about stuff. I was thinking about you coming to Mumbai. I was thinking about this journey, Tripology, the audience, myself, my own mind. And I was like, wow, like I felt so contented and wonderful.
Yeah, amazing.
Sometimes that takes an exogenous like thing to be able to have those moments of introspection. And in a way, is that not what these festivals are supposed to be about? Moments of introspection with other human beings. I think it's a wonderful thing. I'm going to say this. I think Holi is one of the best festivals I've ever been to. It's one of the best days I can think of in recent times traveling.
Yeah, no, I loved every minute, and I think this has now just set the wheels in motion. I've got every confidence that we will celebrate Holi next year.
Yeah, and so unique to this part of the world, so unique to that religion. I think it's a really wonderful thing. And yeah, I'd like to endorse coming to India for Holi on the podcast. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great. I think the listening audience should come here. And yeah, if you have a friend who you think should come to India for Holi, tag him, send this podcast to him, write a comment. We'd love to hear. Yeah,
and check out the stuff that we've got going up on the Instagram as well.
Yeah, at tripologypodcast.
Send us a message, send us a follow, and come join the adventure.
There we go. Tripology Podcast, Holi Festival. My goodness, you look dashing in that Technicolor dream coat, Adam.
Do I look as hot as I feel?
Yeah, and let me tell you, it's very hot outside, so he feels sweltering.
No, I can still smell it, actually. I can still smell the paint.
So, I can too. It's a very small room, and that is why we're going to blast off to the Patreon section, The Lost and Found. Follow us on Patreon if you like. Patreon.com/tripologypodcast. Adam, let's go. Let's go next week. We'll see you there. We're going to do more things in India. It's going to be all crazy. I might eat a biryani. What are you going to have? Let's go.
Samosa.
Yeah.
We'll see you there.
Bye. Bye.